My name is Alistair Lee, and if you're looking for a virtual background for your Adobe Connect room, then you can find a couple of different options here on connectusers.com. Click on the Resources tab to come to this Resources page, and this will give you a number of different options, including a full image gallery that you can use, full of royalty-free background images. All of these are sized perfectly for Adobe Connect, and most of them are colorful to take advantage of the new transparent pods inside of Adobe Connect. To select an image, simply click on it and then choose Download. In addition to the image gallery, though, you can also create your own virtual backgrounds by choosing Gradient Studio from this resources page. This opens up a studio where you can create your own gradient. Again, by default, they're sized specifically for Adobe Connect. It will create either a linear gradient or a radial gradient. You can specify the colors. All of these can obviously be customized. Change the angle. I can add a third color here if I'd like. If I'm not sure which colors to use, I can simply click on this Randomize Colors button. By default, it's giving me a bunch of different gradients based on shades, but I can also select hue opposites, analogous colors, use the triadic colors, or choose from a bunch of pastels. If I've got a corporate color that I want to incorporate into my gradient, I can use a seed color to make sure my brand color is properly represented. In this case, I'm going to deselect that. And in addition to the gradient that we're creating, we can also add a pattern on top of that gradient. By default, there's no pattern, but I can add something like noise. You can see here as I increase the opacity of that, I can choose from stipple, dots, lines, a crosshatch, and other patterns to place on top of that gradient. Let's choose lines here for now. I can adjust the scale of those lines, the density, change the color, add some rotation, and even change the blend mode so that they're incorporated nicely into my virtual background. So we've got a gradient with a pattern on top now. If I'd like, I can also add a vignette. This is especially handy if I'm adding my logo to the image and I want it to stand out more. I can add some darkness, either at the top or the bottom, having a shadow there, or a vignette around the entire gradient background. And then finally, I can also add my logo. This is something that we often do with Adobe Connect backgrounds to brand the room. I can choose a file here. I'm going to select the Adobe Connect logo and add that. By default, it adds it to the bottom right of the image, but you can select any corner to add the logo in. You can also adjust the size of the logo. It defaults to be something fairly small and out of the way because you've got pods that are going to be taking up most of the space on your virtual background. I can also change the margin, how close it is to that corner. Once I'm done, I can download this as a JPEG to incorporate into my Adobe Connect room. If I want to save the settings, maybe to reuse again or to send to a colleague, I can also click the Save button here to save the settings that I've just configured in the Gradient Studio. So a couple of different options for creating virtual backgrounds for your Adobe Connect rooms. Thanks for your time.